Do you also hate what the algorithm serves you? Like, it's not even good anymore. It's like not even good anymore. Hey creators, Aimon here, and this is where I help you master your creative mindset. Today we're talking about the algorithm yet again, because it's killing my vibe. And surely you're here because it's killing your vibe as well. Like, you go on Instagram and there's ads every 2 posts now. So it's like not even good. And then half the people that you actually follow, their stuff doesn't even show up. And then you go, oh, you know what? That'd be sick if I saw content from that creator. I wonder where they're at. And then you go searching for them. Turns out they still exist. You just haven't actually seen their content because the algorithm's not serving it to you. And so like, oh, algorithm's so smart these days. It knows you better than you know yourself. And sometimes that's true. But sometimes you're like, hold on, that's not even what I asked for, you know? And I've done this weird thing lately where I've turned my phone to grayscale. And I deleted TikTok and I deleted Reddit from my phone. And as I've just described, Instagram, there's not even an incentive for me to go on that platform at the moment. It's just horrible. I just go on there to post and then I get out of there, you know? And then you go on YouTube and all the thumbnails are just like so aggressively attention grabby that you go onto the homepage. Well, first of all, you go to the subscription box, doesn't even show you most of the people you're subscribed to. So same scenario. You're like, wonder where that creator is. I used to watch them, feels like a few years ago. Then you go searching for them and they're there. They're still creating content. And you're like, that's the person that I really liked. So you've got to then like favorite their channel and then go to it consistently to see their content. It's like pretty basic stuff to be like, I like give your audience, give your target audience some control over their experience. But instead they're like, no, you get zero control over your experience. We will dictate who shows up in your subscription box. And then, so you've got to like favorite their channel and then go to it regularly if you actually want to see their content. Because they just disappear. They just stop showing you things in your subscription box. Because it's like, nah, we know you better than you do. And you're like, cool, thanks, YouTube, bro. You actually obviously don't. Algorithm's so smart. But like, how many people, like, I wonder how many people, like, who's making these decisions, you know? Because some of these decisions, like that one, just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Because if your goal is to keep me on the platform for longer and serve me more ads, then give me some degree of control over my experience on the platform. But it seems that this is what all platforms are doing now. And I just, like, I'm not even enjoying it. It's not even good. And this is what this video is about, is that if you actually just put it all down, like media isn't even enjoyable anymore. You just put it all down, you end up enjoying your life more. What? Who would have thought? But because we're so brain dead and attuned to consuming digital media every spare second we have. Oh, we're eating? Consume. TikTok and TV at the same time? Of course, we're eating. Oh, we're having a meal with our partner or our friends? Consume. No, we don't have to be fully present for that. Turns out, what I'm telling you, it turns out, you know, I've been on this grind for like, 5 days now. So nothing crazy, but deleted TikTok, read it from my phone, barely go on Instagram, only to post, and my phone's on grayscale. And then the natural enjoyment that I get out of existing, like, sure, I might listen to a podcast or an audiobook while I'm eating breakfast in the morning, but I'm just looking out here, looking out my deck, taking in some trees and some sunlight, some nature. Just like I'm way more present than if I was just consuming TikTok and Reddit and eating and blah, just zombie mode. And yeah, it's almost a wild concept for you to present this kind of information that turns out life's more enjoyable if you're not constantly bombarding your brain with dopamine sucking activities, because it turns out you only have so much dopamine to spend in a day. And I know that's not how dopamine works. It's the molecule of more, right? So when you do something, it makes you want more of that thing, which is obviously why we're slaves to all these machines, right? And these algorithms that think they know us better than we do. But I am treating it, what I've established in myself, I'm treating it more like you only have, let's say, 100 dopamine points in a day. And it's the same as anything else, really. Let's say you had one beer. You might not have the best sleep. You might wake up a little bit groggy, for example. Let's say you have 5 beers. You're going to wake up way worse. Your whole next day is going to be spent recovering because you've just poisoned your mind. Let's say you have 15 beers. It just amplifies from there. It's the same. Coffee. You have one coffee, you feel pretty good. There are downsides to it, but you don't feel it. You're injecting stress into your body, right? If you had 5 coffees in a day, you'd go down real quick. And this is the same concept. It's just that we can't see ourselves actually consuming a drug that makes us feel a particular way because we're just slaves to it. We're just all addicts to it. We can't even see what's going on. And that's what's happening with these platforms. At least that's in my experience. So I treat it as if, I've got 100 dopamine points in a day. Let's say I spend 10 of them on TikTok. It drains you a little bit. 10 of them on Instagram, 10 of them on Reddit, 30 of them on YouTube. And, you want to spend, 10 of it on the TV. How many dopamine points do you have left? And if you've got these dopamine points, and again, I know this isn't actually how it works, but this is just like a theory that I'm implementing, like a frame to operate from. And if you're spending all of your dopamine points on things like that, you're not going to have those dopamine points for the things that actually matter, like your real life, cooking and cleaning, enjoying your sanctuary of a home, having natural interactions with people, working on your creative projects. That's what this whole channel is about, right? So if you're spending all your dopamine points on these algorithms, which aren't even good anymore, ask yourself, when was the last time you went on to one of these platforms and you got off and you were like, that was a wonderful experience? Actually ask yourself that. Because if you've been on one of those platforms today, it's rare. Occasionally I'll have a good chuckle at a TikTok. But even when I have that chuckle, it makes me realize, oh, that was trashy content and I've been here for 15 minutes spending all my dopamine points. So yeah, it's just, again, it's a funny concept to talk about, the fact that, guess what? You enjoy your existence more when you're not just an absolute slave to this digital thing that's in your pocket all the time. And it's really tough for people like me because, I run a business and I have 2-3 creative projects. So I want to be posting on these platforms. And I want, I'm editing all day long on my computer. So these platforms are one click away at any time. So your brain starts to feel a little bit of resistance, which happens all the time. Your brain goes, a little bit of resistance. Let's do something that makes me feel good. Spending all these dopamine points. And you do that, and then you get into a habit of doing that over and over again. God damn, it's hot, let me tell you. Probably should not have picked this spot. I'm going to get out of the sun ASAP, okay? But yeah, you're just going to... I'm really just talking to myself here. It's just a reminder that this little experiment that it was triggered by actually watching a YouTube video, believe it or not, has been profound in terms of it's so clear that the less that we use these platforms, and I think I can't be the only one that's feeling it. You must be feeling it too. Otherwise you wouldn't have clicked on this video. I'm hoping this is genuine content. And this is the kind of content I like to watch as well, because it's not so dopamine sucking. You're just having a conversation with a person. Just happens to be through a screen, right? So, and this is why this kind of content is trending more so at the moment. We're just chilling. One take. You can slow things down. You're not taking in 40 different pieces of content that your brain has to figure out what's happening in a matter of seconds, like on TikTok. Which again, there's value in that platform. I have gotten a lot of value from that platform. But more often than not these days, I don't get value over at me actually getting value from it. Just give it a crack. Just give it a go. Delete a couple of apps, put your phone on grayscale, see how you feel. Because I'm telling you, you feel good. Real good. And it's worth a try. Because if you think yourself in the future, do you really want to be waking up and have the routine that you have right now where you wake up, you're a slave to your phone, you're a slave to YouTube, you're a slave to the TV. Every spare second you get, you reach to your phone. You're an absolute zombie. Do you really want to be doing that? Is the future version of yourself that is successful doing that every day? Probably not. And that's the way I'm trying to think about it. So hopefully you've gotten some value out of this episode of Creative Philosophy, and I'll see you on the next one.